I got some really good news for you today. I have found the secret to a happy life. You want to know what it is? Two things: acceptance and gratitude. If I live in acceptance and gratitude, I will have a great life. It's not easy. It's not easy to be there, and it is a practiced art, but I try. No matter what's going on in my life, I look at it and go, I accept that, and I'm grateful for it happening, but it gives me the opportunity to change it the best that I can. Now, I can't do much about global warming, but I can accept it and I can be grateful that I'm alive today. So I turn everything around. If I may not like the political situation, I can accept it and do the best I can in my little sphere to make it better. But I usually don't live in that area. I live where most of you live, with the 150 relationships that we all have. There's a number called Dunbar's number, and it's the 150 people in our lives that we can stay close to. Most of us don't have 150 close relationships. But if you think about it, if you have 150, that's a lot. What's the average wedding? About 150 people, So most of our relationships are in that little sphere, and that's where we make our greatest impact. But let's talk a little bit about gratitude. No matter what's happening in my life, I sit back. So this was something bad is happening. I'm thinking like, what happened? What's my cause? What's the cause? And what's my part in it? And then I show gratitude because I can change it. How can I change this and make this better? And I've taken it one step further. How can I make it better and then share how I've made it better with other people so I can become a teacher? So I'm a teacher and an educator. It's a big part of what I do. Not to people, not to dentists and doctors. Yeah, I do that. I teach surgery and things, but most of my education is in my office to my patients. So when my patients come in, most of them do not come in to be filled with gratitude. I'm a periodontist. Most of the people look at me as someone who cuts them, rips teeth out, puts bone in, and does a bunch of scary stuff, charges them a lot of money, takes a lot of their time, causes them pain and suffering, and at the end, it's a bad job. That's how my patients come in. Most of my patients are I call them the walking wounded because they've had so many bad experiences over the last 30, 40 years of their life where they spent thousands of dollars, things didn't work out very well, they didn't take care of it, they weren't educated. I don't have to tell you the story. We all see these people every day. Well, they come in and they don't trust me. Well, the first thing that I have to do is I got to accept what they're telling me is their truth. And I do accept it and I say, I know how you're feeling. They don't believe me because how would I know how they're feeling? I said, I can relate to how you're feeling. They still don't believe me. But when I tell them about my own situation and the own medical problems that I've had, especially a lot of dental problems, then they relate to me a little bit more. But it still doesn't really make a difference until they go through a treatment. But I have so much gratitude for them that they're there, and I'm present with them, and I meet them, as my friend Bob Levine says, knee to knee, eye to eye, and I talk with them. I said, I'm going to help you. And I said, and I'm so grateful. I say this to every patient, almost at every visit, especially the nervous ones. I'm so grateful that you have given me your trust. Because the most important ingredient for a patient-doctor relationship or patient-healthcare provider relationship or a salesperson, customer relationship, everyone comes down to one word. It's trust. And if a patient trusts you, I was talking this yesterday with my good friend Jay Dworkin because I was putting together a lecture for some associates, which I gave last night. And I said, guess what this lecture is about? It's about building relationships. It's about building your practice. He goes, trust? I go, exactly. And his patients trust him. I've been working with him for 40 years, and his patients trust him. When your patients trust you, when an employee trusts you, when your spouse trusts you, it's great. If the trust gets eroded, which it does, sometimes when relationships go south, then it's very hard to put them back together. Divorce attorneys and divorce therapists talk about this. Guy John Gottman wrote a whole book about it. When people look at each other and they just don't trust each other, he knows within 90 seconds that that relationship is not salvageable. Patients come in looking for trust. They don't believe they're going to find it. But if you can connect with them, by being playful, by accepting the situation, by showing them some gratitude, then amazing things happen. Then you can do the work that they need and you can educate them, which is a whole other video about how do we educate a patient. So, closing, if you're not practicing acceptance or gratitude, think about it. Whatever you're in a bad mood, and you will be in a bad mood today because we all are, I'm probably in a bad mood and have some sort of resentment or feel like, as Dan Sullivan says, I'm in the gap where I'm thinking about what I don't have instead of what I do have. I get into that spot. We basically look at the horizon and that's where I want to be, but here is where I am. I'm like that. And I'm an overachiever like a lot of you, and I'm always want to be somewhere that I'm not. And I go into that spot. When I'm in that spot, the first thing I think, am I in acceptance? Do I accept where I'm at right now? And do I have gratitude that I have the life that I've been given, that I can make a difference to those I serve, and that's how I can truly be the gift. Have a great day, everybody, and continue to be the gift in acceptance and in gratitude.